we're agreeing to give them 10% yield forever, for 100 years, for 1,000 years. And so how are we doing that? We're investing our own Bitcoin. And then their question is, well, how will you pay us? Well, we're invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's appreciating. I think it'll appreciate 30% a year for the next 20 years. And then 20% or more. You can see it all. And yet the conventional investor, the mainstream media, they still don't get it yet. And so this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity where you can know something. You know the future. It's very clear. You know why the future is clear. And everybody else just doesn't see the future yet. And that's the superpower I think we all have in this industry right now.
마이클 세일러는 미국의 기업 가이자 투자자로 소프트웨어 회사 마이크로스트래티지의 공동 창립자이자 회장입니다. 특히 비트코인 강력한 옹호자로 유명하며 2020년부터 마이크로스트래티지를 통해 대규모 비트코인 투자를 주도했습니다. 이런 그가 비트코인이 이제는 정치, 기업, 금융, 국가 단위로의 확산을 얘기하며 자신이 운영하는 전략이 왜 전통 자본시장을 연결하는 구조인지 설명합니다. 이러한 계획과 함께 비트코인은 바이러스처럼 전 세계를 변화시키고 그 가치는 점점 높아질 것이라고 전망하고 있죠.
And so if there is one mentor, it's got to be Satoshi.
100%. And obviously we're starting the phases like you see Bitcoin in a way entering the political realm. Is there a possible way that Bitcoin can fail? Because in a way we're still in the early stages. Bitcoin's a teenager in a way, and you're saying that it's our hope.
Bitcoin is a truth virus wrapped in a freedom virus, wrapped in a monetary virus. And it is spreading throughout the entire world. When 10 people on the city block embrace it, it becomes more powerful. When the richest person on the block embraces it, it becomes more powerful again. When a small city embraces it, it becomes more powerful again. And the city's transformed. They become more truthful. And they look out further, and they become more rational. And then everyone in the network benefits. And so as Bitcoin spreads virally through cities and counties and states and countries, on one hand, it's drawing their energy. On the other hand, it's transforming them. Every single politician, every single person that seeks to benefit from Bitcoin finds themselves transformed by Bitcoin. So it is a virus, but it's a virus of rationale, and it's a virus of truth, and it's a virus of soundness, sound money. So as more and more countries embrace it, it will actually make Bitcoin stronger. Bitcoin is better if adversaries, if the 20 superpowers in the world or the 20 powers in the world, they all embrace it. They will all create a countervailing check and balance on each other that strengthens the protocol and actually strengthens everybody in the network. So I don't worry about it spreading to other countries. I don't worry about it spreading to more powerful companies or any other entity. I think Bitcoin is a perfect machine made of imperfect parts.
Besides accumulating it for shareholders, do you have any plans to use or build on strategies Bitcoin in the near future? You know, i.e. loans, a Bitcoin-backed bank, loans, etc.?
Lots of people will come up with lots of things to do with digital capital over time. What we're doing with it is we're using it as collateral. It's the base layer that we use to issue billions of dollars of bonds. We've issued about $10 billion of bonds that were backed by the Bitcoin. And now we've just issued 2 preferred stocks, one called Strike, and there's about $1 billion of it floating in the market now. That is backed by the Bitcoin. And another thing we issued called Strife, that provides a 10% dividend at par value. That's the sort of the highest yielding instrument of its kind in the market. That is backed by Bitcoin. So when people are buying this preferred stock called Strife, we're agreeing to give them 10% yield forever, for 100 years, for 1,000 years. And so how are we doing that? We're investing our own Bitcoin. And then their question is, well, how will you pay us? Well, we're invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's appreciating. I think it'll appreciate 30% a year for the next 20 years. And then 20% or more. So the Bitcoin is the engine that is generating the dividends, that is generating the collateral and the security for those fixed income investors. The future of our company, our business strategy, is we wish to be the global leader in the issuance of Bitcoin-backed credit. We want to issue a preferred stock that gives you European yield in return for Bitcoin yield. So we'll give the Europeans more yield than they're getting from their corporate bonds. Or we'll generate yield for the Japanese yen. So the Japanese investors get 50 basis points in yield from their corporate bonds. If we go to Japan and offer 10 times that much, they're getting JPY yield. We will take back Bitcoin yield, you see? So what we're doing is we're creating Bitcoin yield for our equity investors, and we're giving fiat yield for all of the conventional fixed income investors. That's a $300 trillion market. So when you're saying, well, how are we actually getting value for the Bitcoin? The Bitcoin is generating yield for our equity shareholders because every time we sell any of those fixed income instruments, that generates BTC yield. And then, of course, the fixed income instruments generate a more secure, higher yield for the conventional investors. And that's a business that can grow scalably for a long, long time. The critical thing is we have to have the Bitcoin. We have the $60 billion of Bitcoin collateral. That's what allows us to secure the loan. And that's also what allows us to provide the performance to the convertible preferred stocks that the investors want. And so it's a very elegant strategy right now. The beauty of the strategy is we hold our own Bitcoin. We're not giving it to anybody else, hoping they'll give it back to us. In essence, it's a Bitcoin-backed credit strategy. If I were to go to a conventional investor and I were to say, what would you rather have, 50% return and 50 vol, or 20% return and 20 vol? The majority of them would want 20% return and 20 vol. The actual market for that is 100x bigger. And that's because they just don't want to get on the roller coaster. And Bitcoin is a roller coaster for many. But having said all that, the capital markets are structured. So there are some people that have billions of dollars to invest in venture capital. They have to invest in a private equity of a venture. There are other people that have billions of dollars to invest in bonds. They have to buy the bond. Other people have billions of dollars to invest in convertible bonds. They have to buy the convertible bond. Some people have billions of dollars to invest in equity. They can't buy Bitcoin. They can buy a Bitcoin company. And so when you look at the overall capital markets, and I'm talking about $400 to $500 trillion, that's been structured over 50 years. These people created that fund. All the famous money managers they've been in the business 30 years. So 10 years ago, they agreed with their limited partners, the pension funds and the endowments. They agreed they would invest that money with this strategy. They have to stay in their lane. And the charter doesn't include Bitcoin. So what we're doing is if you're a private company, you give the venture capitalist Bitcoin preferred.
What is the most interesting or coolest thing that you've learned about Bitcoin this year?
I think the coolest thing that I've learned about Bitcoin this year is just the incredible diverse appeal that it has globally, right? The number of actors, from people in Brazil, people in, actors in Mexico, actors in Pakistan, actors in the Middle East, actors in France and the UK, the explosion of excitement about Bitcoin treasury companies. I meet someone like, I'm doing this in UAE, I'm doing this in Hong Kong, I'm doing this in UK, I'm doing this in Norway. Like the explosion of that, and then every time you see an exciting announcement, a soccer team that's embracing Bitcoin, GameStop embracing Bitcoin, the mayor of the biggest city in the United States embracing Bitcoin. This is a classic example of a viral, explosive phenomena. There's no way you can stop an idea whose time has come. And you see indicators this year that the time has come for this idea.
And what would you say your hottest take on Bitcoin is?
Most of the risk, if not all of the risk, in my opinion, has been stripped off it in the past 4 years, especially over the past 12 months. And yet, most people don't appreciate this fact, right? So we're at a very critical inflection point where you already know the banks will embrace it, the insurance companies will embrace it, the governments will embrace it. You know, the accounting professionals embraced it, Wall Street has embraced it, companies have embraced it, international markets have embraced it. You can see it all, and yet the conventional investor, the mainstream media, they still don't get it yet. And so this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you can know something. You know the future. It's very clear. You know why the future is clear. And everybody else just doesn't see the future yet. And that's the superpower I think we all have in this industry right now.
마이클 세일러는 비트코인은 건전한 화폐이며 결국 정치인, 도시, 국가가 받아들일수록 더 강력해질 수밖에 없다고 얘기합니다. 세계 자본시장의 500조 달러는 이미 구조화되어 있어 이를 우회하는 자신의 전략과 함께 비트코인의 리스크는 지난 1년간 사라졌다고 보고 있죠. 그리고 현재는 미래가 분명한 시점이며 지금이 기회 정점이라고 말합니다. 우리는 객관적인 시각으로 투자를 해야 하고 지금 당장 만 보고 투자할 게 아니라 미래를 보고 투자를 해야겠죠. 010-2472-0429 전화번호로 탈겜이 적어서 문자 보내주시면 2025년 비트코인과 코인 시장에 대한 분석, 정보들 공유해드리겠습니다. 현재 우리에게 중요한 것은 이러한 정보를 어떻게 활용할 것인가입니다. 지금까지 영상 시청해주셔서 감사하고요. 다음에 더 좋은 영상으로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.